Today's first reading begins, "Arise, shine, your light has come." Look up, something wonderful is happening. Something incredible is happening. Open your hearts, open your eyes, open your mind. Now, what you can't tell from today's first piece of scripture is that this is actually a really bold statement. You see, the Israelites were exiled into Babylon for 50 years. And when they were finally released to come home, 50 years later, they returned, and what they thought would be their homeland was a pile of rubble and ashes. Nothing had been rebuilt in their absence. And when they returned, infighting became part of the game, and living was incredibly hard in Jerusalem. And this is when this poem was written. There's no evidence of that light. Like if you were to take a photograph of it, you would think, what are you talking about? Layer upon layer of darkness. They described it as a thick darkness in this today's scripture. If you were to look a little bit earlier, the gloom and despair would be evident in the earlier chapters of Isaiah. Ways of the wicked are crooked, transgressions are many, sins testify us. We wait for the light, but there's only darkness. But light comes, God interrupts, God arises and shines. This is the proclamation that is given. It's not just a statement pointing to things that they can prove that this is happening in their lives right now. It's a proclamation of faith and hope. It's a statement of faith. Now, I don't know about you, but many of us during New Year's Eve celebrated the end of 2020. This year has been an incredibly hard year. And I bet many of you were like, I am so glad this year is going to be over. We have so much to look forward to in 2021. It was kind of like this way of saying that if I just close my eyes tonight, the last night of 2020, and I open my eyes on 2021, a whole world will change. Of course, that's not exactly how it happened, and 2021 hasn't looked that different from 2020, except that we know that the light is at the end of the tunnel with the vaccine. The truth is that it is a statement of hope and faith, just as today's scripture, "Arise, shine, your light has come." And I'd like to rejoice in that moment. I truly believe 2021 will be a better year, that there will be light and love in it. Just as in the proclamation of faith and hope in today's scripture. If you were to continue on with today's scripture, you hear little bits of these kings from the east moving and following the light, that the light will be sought after on all ends of the earth. And it's reminiscent of today's scripture from the Gospel of Matthew about the wise men. They see something light, they hear about a lightness in their dreams, and they follow it, and they follow it east. They follow it west to where Jesus and Mary is. I don't know where light is in your life, but I hope today you take a moment, pray that prayer that we as Christians pray, that light is here and that God's glory is among us, even if the darkness is thick. Pray that prayer, look for it, seek it out in your life, and surely it will be found. God's glory is here today, now, in our lives. God comes. God interrupts. God rises and shines forth in glory. Not just in a world a long time ago, not just during Jesus' birth, but here today, now. What does that light look like? I read about this community of faith, of a group of women in Tennessee, Thistle Farms. They have this phrase that they pray for, that they have. It's called Love Heals. It's a vow. It's a community that brings in women who have been, who have had lots of different troubles in their lives. And it brings them into 2 years of a residential program. And they teach there that love heals. And they proclaim it as that proclamation, just like in today's scripture. And when they first arrive, it may not seem like love can actually heal. But after 2 years of a residential program where they have lots of therapy and they're incorporated into the businesses that Thistle Farms runs, they do all sorts of things, from candles to hand sanitizers to a farm, all sorts of things. These women, after they go through this residential program, realizes that this isn't just a vow. It isn't just a proclamation of hope. It is something that becomes real in their lives. And they go on to share it to other women. And the story continues, and around it goes. So I encourage you today to look for that light in your life. Take the vow that you know that is our Christian statement of faith, that God is here and hope is alive. Encapsulate it into your heart. Open your heart and your mind to it. Follow it where it may lead. And let it become a reality in your life as well. Amen.